Here is the Compaq Armada M700 laptop computer. Released in mid-2001 for $3,500 to $4,000, this was a very well outfitted and very durable business class laptop. It was designed to be small, portable, sleek, sexy, and overall durable. Compaq really was able to find a good mix between all these things, as this particular unit has held up very, very well over the past 14, almost 15 years now, and it has very few faults. And this thing, I'm sure, wasn't treated especially nicely, because there are some issues that it has. But overall, great condition. The screen hinges on all these M series laptops for the M300 and M700 series are nice. These screen hinges make me very happy as a vintage laptop collector. So, what did $4,000 get you in 2001 if you were an executive? Well, it got you a very thin laptop. As you can see, the screen is very thin. If I can grab a tape measure here, we've got quarter inch screen that is bezel and all. That was almost unheard of at the time, and Compaq, as far as I know, was the only company that was creating laptops that were that sleek. The entire unit itself is about 1.25 inches, so the laptop, well, my math might be a little off there, 1 2/3, or 1/3, 1 1/3. I know how to use a tape measure, which, even by today's standards, is tiny. Massively tiny, if that makes any sense. So, what did $4,000 get you? Well, it got you a 20 gig IDE hard drive, 2 PCM-CIA slots here, a built-in DVD-ROM drive. This was actually an option from the factory. This particular one came with the DVD drive from the factory. It was an upgrade later on, of course. These are very easily removable just by pulling down that switch and pulling out the drive. I also believe, and I can confirm that by looking inside, this could also be used as an expansion for a second battery as well as a floppy drive and a CD drive. But it was very interesting that this could be used as a battery slot as well. Has built-in modem, built-in Ethernet, IR, all your standard ports, and a dot connector, 1 USB port. A composite out that could be used for NTSC or PAL. There's a setting for that in the BIOS. And also a very generous cooling port, a cooling vent on the side with, again, a very generous fan on there that at full speed isn't even that loud. Came with a battery built in right here. The battery in this unit is good. It's not 100% good, but it does hold a charge for at least 30 minutes. That's as far as I've tested. Came with Windows 98 SE. This unit has Windows 2000 on it right now. There's the cover for the modem right there. Interestingly enough, this unit does not have built-in built-in Wi-Fi. The reason behind this, in Compaq's words, were that there was a possibility that the 802.11b standard would be superseded during the lifetime of this laptop, and they did not want their customers or users to be stuck with a slow version of wireless. So they opted to allow you to install some cards in the side, or a card in the side, for an expanded or better wireless option. So, here's the inside of the laptop. In this particular one, it's very well taken care of. Keyboard is okay. It's not the best. The keys are a little bit mushy, but can't really complain. It was designed to be small, so I give them some leeway on that. Pentium 3 sticker, Windows 98 and NT sticker right there. This unit has a touchpad with 2 buttons on the side. There was also a variation of the M700, which I have an example of right here. This unit's not working, but it had no touchpad, rather 2 buttons and a center button, and a pointing stick. And I believe the only difference between these two models, other than the pointing device, is the processor speed. The model with the pointing stick shipped with a 700 megahertz processor as opposed to this one with a 750. Not a huge difference, but there is a slight difference. Not sure what the 1 gigahertz model would have been, but I'm assuming it would be something like this, as this would have been a more popular option, I imagine. There are two small built-in speakers right here. Speakers are not that great, and this one, the left speaker in this example, is a little bit blown out. It's not totally gone yet, but it doesn't sound very good. Unfortunately, I'm not able to swap between this one and the other unit because the touchpad assembly is riveted in with plastic rivets, and there's no way to remove it and swap it out. And I like my touchpad. I want to keep that. So, I guess we'll boot it up now. Not a whole lot to say inside this thing, but we'll boot it up. As I said before, the battery does work, but it's not that great, so I will plug it in and tilt my tripod up here. There's the Compaq logo. Unfortunately, this one has a dead pixel right about here, which you can't see on the screen. However, it does exist, and it's a little bit unfortunate, but whatever. It's in great shape otherwise. So as I said, this has Windows 2000 on it right now. Takes a while to start up, but that's not an issue. I'll talk about some other things that this laptop features in the meantime. There are easy access buttons up here at the top that you can see. This was nothing new to Compaq. They had had some models with that before. However, I do like how they're not just gimmicky buttons. And what I mean by that is shopping button or something other than that. I mean, this has a home page, a search, an email, and an information button. That's all you need, in my opinion. You don't need shortcuts to other junk. So there we go, booting up Windows 2000. All three of these laptops, and by the way, I have 3 of these laptops, all similar models, all 700s, were owned by a power company in Texas. I live in upstate, or rather western New York. I have no idea how these laptops got up here, but that's just kind of an interesting fact, I think, what these were used for in their past life. I don't know exactly what their job would have been, but I know they came from a power company. Loading up Windows 2000, and I'm just going to take a look at my cheat sheet over here. So as you can hear, that left speaker is a little bit worn out by now, but the sound overall is decent. And here we are at the Windows 2000 desktop. I will open up the system specs here. I think this thing has 192 megabytes of RAM, and that is with one expansion, 164 meg stick down below the keyboard, and 128 built in. Oh. So there we go. Windows 2000 Service Pack 3 and 196 megs of RAM. This does have the 750 megahertz processor, and that's really about it for the operating system. Unfortunately, this one, although it has lots of icons, it seemed like somebody really enjoyed making shortcuts to things. I'm not really sure what that is. There's about 10 shortcuts for my computer and 6 or 7 from Windows Media Player. And it seems as though all the personal information is gone from this as well, so I can't really tell what it was used for in its past life, which is rather unfortunate, but whatever. I'm not a person to go snooping around for information. One thing I'll show you just before we end this video tour of the Armada 700 is under the keyboard, because it is very well laid out, and it's, as I said, meant to be expanded. It wasn't meant to just be stuck, as I said, with the wireless at 802.11b. It's meant to have at least somewhat expandability. So, pull back these 4 tabs at the top of the keyboard. Computer's off now, and it's a little bit quirky to get this keyboard up, but once you get a corner up it just pops right off. There it goes, right there. Pop the keyboard out. And I was incorrect. This has two expansions, two 64 meg sticks of SD RAM. As you can see, I think that would be the processor card down there. And honestly, that's all there is to say about this one. Unfortunately, this laptop is going to be sold. I don't have a use for it anymore. And I do have another M700, as I showed you down there, that's not working, and another one that's not working as well, which I will combine and turn into one big ol' working laptop. One interesting thing I'd like to show you is the size of this laptop. On top, I've got an M300 laptop, and if we stand these up, and they're not going to stay, tilt the camera up, we can see the size difference between the two. This laptop, the M300, was released in '99 and was meant to be an incredibly slim laptop, just like the M700. As you can see, they're just about the same thickness. The M300 is only slightly thinner than the M700, and they were both designed with the same idea intact, to be a very well outfitted, very powerful, and very durable laptop for the executive. So, there we go. That's a tour of the M700 laptop. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. If you have any comments to make either, leave them, because I'm sure I made some mistakes, and there's some interesting features I probably missed. So, there we have it, folks. The M700 laptop by Compaq, released in 2001. For the price point of $4,000, which was quite a hefty price tag. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.